Hi guys, Saki with Command & Conquer Red Alert video. In this game I'm playing a 2v2v2v2 match on the map Super Bridgehead. I'm starting in the middle left position playing as the Soviets. And my teammate has started right next to me. I think it was random positions, so that's like just really lucky there. At least I've got him at the bottom of my base. And what that means is I can focus on the top. Because my base at the moment, I'll have a person above me, I'll have a person to the right of me as well. It's like quite a hard position to defend, so I am very happy that my teammate is below me. At least that's just one less position. And we can already see an infantry coming through, orange from the top of the map. And this is just like a very tricky scenario. Like, who do I go for? Do I like try and take more infantry up against orange? Or do I try and go for the attack on the right? Because the person on the right could be quite dangerous as well. He could either decide to go for orange that's above him, or maybe orange and that person in the middle are teammates. I don't know yet. So we just got that like key out so we can see who the different colours are. And it looks like we've got pink in the middle position. So we know that pink isn't like a teammate of orange, because orange is with red. And now we're just getting a ore truck out, and then we're going to be going for some tanks and getting that second war factory up. I just need to get out this out pretty quickly and just start getting some defences. And now pink trying to send some infantry there, but being able to eliminate that quite quickly. And unfortunately though, what I've noticed is orange is mining off the patch to the left hand side of the base, and that's bad news for me because it means that he's probably more likely to go for me at the start, and just getting a bit of visibility there. And we can see indeed there is a light tank there. I could be in immediate danger because light tanks are quite strong early on in the game when there's not many heavy tanks around. I'm trying to produce tanks as quickly as possible, but he's certainly got the jump on tank production. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to produce a Tesla, so if he does go for the dive, those Tesla do great damage, but I just need time right at the moment. And we can just see that ore truck still going. I'm just wondering about whether I should go on the attack first, because that Tesla coil now is getting close to completion. And the question is, do I go for the attack and just take out that ore truck and put him in a worse position? I'm also going to get another large power plant, and I'm just going to get another Tesla coil there for good measure in case he does go on the attack. Because those two Teslas together will do great damage. And I think he might be getting actually harassed on the other side of his base, possibly. So I'm going to build another ore truck because he seems to be... oh no, he actually is starting to group up now a little bit. And his light tank numbers are seeming to get a little bit more menacing. So I'm going to be placing this second one down shortly. I'm also just trying to mine off that patch above my base. This one's a bit further to the north to protect my ore refinery. And now we're going to go on the attack. You can see those light tanks coming in, but that Tesla getting a little bit of a fire on. And you can see those light tanks pulling right back. He knows that it's not smart to go for a straight out attack against Tesla when you're using light tanks, because light tanks are just so weak. They have low HP. They do like decent damage, but... yeah, now he's, it's just the numbers like thing. And now he's got some turrets in his base. So just taking it out just for good measure, so it doesn't fire on my ore trucks. And now we've got a little bit of a battle going on at this like top part of the map. But you can see he's just trying to pull back, get back to his base. And what he's trying to do is he's trying to draw my tanks into that turret fire. So I'm going to just pull back a little bit. We can see a crate there, so we'll see what that gives us.
Unit ready.
And yeah, just a bit of firepower for my infantry there. As I would have hoped, what I would have hoped for is an extra MCV, or even the crate for map visibility, which is just such a great crate. But that's very, very rare.
Unit ready.
And just getting my tank numbers. And what I need to do now is I just need to stabilise. I need to get decent tank numbers. I need to build my economy a little bit and get another ore refinery out. And going to be getting another ore truck out so we can start mining off that ore patch to the right of my base, which I've left a little bit because I didn't want to get too close to pink. I wanted to focus more on orange. So we've been having a little bit of fights with orange at the moment, and just going for another ore refinery. And hopefully my teammate is doing okay at the bottom, below my base. But I do have my hands full a little bit at the moment. I haven't had too much movement from pink, thankfully, so that's helped me a little bit. But we can now see a bit of a standoff between my teammate and Rambo in the bottom left. We're getting 5 minutes into the game now, and we can see that all players are still standing, which is usually quite surprising in these sort of matches. But yeah, everyone's alive for the time being. We don't know on the right side of the map though, there might be a bit more fighting going on. At the left side though, it's been pretty standoffish. We've got some base defences which are deterring a lot of the attacks. But you can see that ore patch to the top of my base that's near orange is starting to get pretty used up, and he's just got that turret there. What I'm worried about though is with orange is he's playing as the allies, and if he decides to build some boats and cruisers, if it gets into a long game, I could be in a little bit of a trouble because we've got that water patch just between me and him. So I am going to need to maybe yeah, try and deal with him a bit earlier than I would have liked. And I'm now getting a service depot out, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some MCVs, some extra ones, and I'm just getting that infantry up to the north part of the map, getting some visibility as well of more turrets. So he's got more turrets in the back of the base, but what I'm really trying to go for is that crate. We also don't want orange to get it if it is a good bonus, so taking that away right now. We have some more information though. We know that orange's base has more turrets, and I'm going to send that infantry forwards just to see if I can get any more detail on that base situation. And I've got an ore truck there for some reason, but orange looks like he's on the attack on the middle of the map, and pink looks like he's going to be the first casualty of this match. Pink is well and truly out of the game. So quite lucky there, actually using that service depot for once. You don't see me using it to repair tanks very often. I'm also going to send a MCV further down the map to near my teammate. And we could just see him still in a bit of a standoff position with Rambo, who's playing in the bottom left. But now that he's done, we can see that orange is now starting to bring his tanks to the left side of his base. But the question is how many tanks did he lose there? Fighting pink. Just getting my MCV deployed, and I'm starting to hear a bit of fighting. So it looks like purple might have started in a fight, and it looks like Rambo is attacking his base at the moment. The only problem is I've got orange at the top, so I can't help right at the moment, and that's just, yeah, it's just a bad situation. There's no way I can just spare any tanks, because now the fight between me and orange is commencing. I'm also going to be going for a bit of a crawl as well with my base and producing some Tesla. I do have a bit of a faster building speed now that I've got more than one MCV deployed. So we'll be able to build a little bit faster, getting a third one as well. So that's going to hopefully improve our building speed quite a bit. And I'm also getting some good gems further down the map. So I've sort of like been able to stack a little bit of ore now. So I could be able to build some more buildings further in. But now it looks like we've got the upper hand on orange, and orange is being pushed back. We can see it just looks like we're going to be able to keep on going here. We've managed to take out those turrets, and my Tesla are going to get closer and closer to the side of his base. You can see that final Tesla going down there, and that's going to be almost in range. I'm also going to do a little bit of crawling, but we could also see now some tanks at the bottom. There's some green tanks there, and they look like they might be at the south part of my base. Unfortunately, there's not much I can really spare at the moment, because this fight is just too close, and we can see that it might have taken out one of my ore trucks, but I'm not too worried about that at the moment. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to build a radar dome so I can see what's going on, and we can see the cyan is coming for the attack on orange's base as well from the right side of the map. I'm going to pull back for the time being because I don't want to mess with an army of that size. That does look like a substantial force, and I'm going to pull back into the safety of my base. My teammate has helped me defend from Rambo so far. I'm losing an ore truck there, unfortunately, but that's just from an outer base, so it's not really too important. And now it looks like orange is in real trouble because that cyan army is absolutely huge, and I'll just let them get on with it, really. I'm going to be using orange sort of like as a buffer between me and cyan because I don't want to really fight that cyan army at the moment. What I am going to do though is I'm going to go in to try and help my teammate against green, against Rambo. So now our tanks are coming in. We can see that Rambo's sending some of his tanks forwards, and as he sends his tanks forwards, I'm going to go into his base. I am going to be able to do some major damage here, and that oil refinery going down, and we're just going to be able to bulldoze through this. We haven't got much defending at the moment, but now Rambo is starting to come back with his tanks, but it might be a bit too late. My heavy tanks do great damage against their buildings. They are quite powerful, these Soviet tanks, and once they get on a roll, they are quite hard to stop. It looks like a second war factory is going to go down, and even if he has a third war factory, his tank production is going to be very slow at this point now. And there's the construction yard. I don't know if he's got multiple construction yards. We're going to take that down as well. He's playing as the allies, so he has been building some base defences and trying to save that MCV, but it is definitely going to go down, and now we'll take out that oil refinery and cut off Rambo's economy. Unfortunately though, my teammate has been attacked by Cyan while that has been happening, and now Cyan going into my own base. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move those MCVs up north. So when I was helping against Rambo, unfortunately my teammate got attacked by Cyan, and Rambo and Cyan, Deadeye Darren, are both teammates. So they have been sort of like obviously going to be trying to help each other, even though they're at opposite sides of the map it appears. And now just needing to get this power up so those Teslas can fire, and those tanks starting to be whittled down. Those Teslas doing some great damage, and those medium tanks, they do have more HP than lights, but those Tesla are just so powerful, and when you got the tank Tesla combo, it's just a great defense. And just having a bit of a look at Rambo now, and it looks like he's all but being destroyed. We can see the orange is somehow still in this game, so I think what happened is I attacked Rambo, Cyan stopped attacking orange and went to attack my teammate, and it's been like a bit of a devastating blow. It doesn't look like he's got any production buildings left, and now I'm just having a look at those orange ore trucks manning my resources. I'm just going to chase them away here because I don't want them to be taking away my resources. I need all the resources I can get. That Cyan army was large. At least though, Cyan is on his own team now. We've got orange and we've got red, who are still alive. They've got like 2 team members left. However, I don't think orange is in exactly a good situation. He does have a war factory. I think he might have lost his construction yard though when that Cyan army attacked, and now it's a fight between me and orange, my heavy tanks against the orange light tanks, and there's only going to be one winner here. Those light tank numbers falling very quickly, and I also think that orange is having a hard time with his economy because those ore trucks were going far south for a reason. I think that Cyan has got control of the ore patch to the north of his base, and I also can see some Cyan movement up there on my radar dome, so I'm going to need to be very careful because there could be an attack on my base. It looks like there is going to be an attack on my base as his tanks start going down the left side of the map, and I'm just scrambling to get my tanks back into my base. Orange has also got some tanks on the attack as well, so I'm getting attacked from both sides. The Cyan army though is a huge problem because it's absolutely ginormous. I think my ally was helping with the orange tanks down south, so I'm just going to be focusing on the Cyan tanks here. The medium tanks coming into my base. I've got a couple of Tesla coils. Actually, I had a 3 there, but one of those Tesla coils getting taken out pretty quickly. But those 2 Tesla coils still stand, and my heavy tanks just firing on those medium tanks, which are going for the major buildings. I've lost a ore refinery there, and I'm just going to try and keep on adding buildings to that bomb base, and one of my construction yards now going down, unfortunately. I've still got my 2 war factories. I've still got my, well, I had my 2 Tesla coils, but they've been taken out now. But they have managed to do a lot of damage, and those medium tank numbers starting to fall a little bit, and it looks like I might actually be able to survive this, but now my war factories are starting to go down. And what I can see from the radar dome is that there's no medium tanks coming to reinforce those Cyan tanks. So he's just taking everything he's got at the moment. He's not reinforcing that. And now it looks like my radar dome is going to go down. But I do think I have enough tanks to defend if he starts to try and go any further. Especially if he tries to go to that southern base. But right now, I'm rebuilding that war factory because I've got no war factories left. And I'm just going to destroy some of those orange ore trucks as the Cyan army pulls back for now, but he's managed to do some major damage. Right now though, I'm going to focus on this ore patch to the bottom left because that's where all the ore is. I can see that around my base now there's no more ore left, and it's basically game over for orange because there's no ore there, so you'd have to go right down to this bottom left ore patch. But now we see that red army into the right of my base here, and now I'm going to have to go back down and try and defend once again. And we can see now that blue is officially out of the game. And just coming down here, you can see those orange tanks. So as well, I've got a radar dome back up, but it's orange and red both on the attack here, and I'm in big trouble. Those red tanks are quite numerous, and although it would have been a problem earlier on, now it's going to be a big problem since cyan destroyed most of my base and my tank numbers have been depleted quite massively, and red taking out my economy, taking out all those oil refineries in the bottom left. He's starting to go up the base, taking out power plants, and now we've just got a straight fight here against those red tanks. We're starting to get those numbers whittled down a bit, and he's starting to go on the move once again. I think he was focusing on something back at his home base, and now he's going for that construction yard. And just a bit of a misclick there. I didn't manage to keep clicking the repair. That Tesla low fired on some of those medium tanks, and it just goes down, unfortunately, and that is basically me out of the game. Red just managed to get that construction yard down, and orange had some tanks there also as well. And unfortunately, I guess it was inevitable. I was attacked by cyan straight after I was attacked by red, and also orange was there with a few tanks as well, and it was just a matter of time, unfortunately. And you can see orange tanks still destroying my base, so I am going to have to go back there. But one of those orange war factories is very low on HP. At this point, I know it's all over, so I'm just going to go and do some damage to orange's base, make sure his last war factory does go down. I think there's a cyan tank taking it out anyway, so I think it is going to go down probably. Well, that cyan tank did actually go down eventually, but we're going to take that down now. Getting a bit of revenge there on orange, who's just going to go and take out the last remaining buildings of my base, I think. But yeah, his army's coming back now, and it's going to be a straight fight here. He's got light tanks, I've got heavy tanks, and I'm out of the game because you can see that red has returned with an army. And we're now going to view it in from the replay, because from our screen and what I could see of the map visibility, you couldn't see anything that was going on. But this was cyan's base. We can see the orange is in the left here, and the orange is bringing some light tanks. There's some movement there. And we've also got the cyan base, which is absolutely huge. Loads of turrets and lots of tanks inside. Now you can see that red and orange are on the same team, remember? And the red and orange army are coming in to attack that player. And let's see what they can do here. But I think this is a bad idea, because red is going to attack the main base. The problem with the main base is there's tons and tons of turrets, and those turrets will do some major damage, and there's just too many tanks there. And I think he's going to lose a lot of tanks. He's trying to actually go for the base dive, and I think that's a bad idea. He is distracting cyan, so orange is going to be able to do some extra damage on the other side of the base. But you can just see how many tanks red is losing, and I think that was just a wasted opportunity, because he hasn't really done much damage at all. And there's the orange tanks now getting spotted on the left side of the base, and now cyan is responding, and orange is taking those tanks further inside the base. He'll be uncovering some map visibility, although there's gap generators all over. And now he'll see the tech center, and he sees that tech center. Is he going to take it down? It looks like he is, and that means that cyan is going to lose all his map visibility if he'd researched satellite. I do think that was probably the case in this game, because we are quite far through. It's been about over 18 minutes. But now the red is coming in for another attack on his base, going into those turrets once again, and this time he's decided to pull back. I just think really there's just too many turrets there, and if you want to take tanks it's just not very economical. Like, those turrets can't move, so you may as well just build up your tanks at your base. And if I was red, what I would be looking at is I'd be looking at the possibility of sneaking out an extra MCV. I would have done this by now, and sending it to the left side of the map, where there's that ore patch in the bottom left-hand corner, and just hope that cyan doesn't come too early. But now it looks like cyan is starting to make a move. He's exiting the bottom part of his base. And red's trying to gather up here, but we can see how many tanks that cyan has, and he vastly outnumbers the red army. And now cyan is coming in with those medium tanks. They're both allies, so it's medium versus medium tanks. But there's one army that's small, and there's one army that is absolutely huge. And cyan only has doesn't have his whole army here at the moment. He already outnumbers the red army though, and those cyan tanks just streaming in, but from his base. And it's just no contest here. We can see that red does not have the tank numbers no matter how good he is at microing them, there's no way he's going to beat the army of Cyan. Cyan taking out one war factory and taking out a second war factory, and those other buildings are just to follow, and this is just destroying now Red's economy. And although he will be losing tanks while he does this, there's just not enough Red tanks there to pose a threat. And even if Red did kill all those medium tanks, he's still got the turrets at Cyan's base to contend with while Cyan builds up his army. But now Cyan's destroying those medium tanks, and you can see them falling pretty quickly. And I think Cyan has lost his only construction yard as well, and maybe his only war factories. We'll have to wait and see as he goes down into Red's base even further. But yeah, those tanks are just taken out completely. Only 3 tanks left, and they're just going to go down now. And yeah, I think the big mistake here was from Red. He has got a war factory, he's got a barracks as well. But I think the big mistake was Red going straight into Cyan's base. There was just too many turrets there. Too many turrets, too many tanks. He wasted a lot of tanks doing that. I think his best idea would have been to stay at his base, build up his tank numbers, and hope that Cyan doesn't go on an early attack, and also try and sneak an MCV to the bottom left patch of the map. But that's that, and we can see it's now over. And for me, I just got attacked by quite a lot of players that match, and didn't take out Orange quickly enough in the game. But there you go. Anyway, quite an entertaining game, I thought. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.